Well, welcome back. It's so great that we're here with John and Helen Burns. They're so real and honest about marriage, about their own story, and they're going to give us some tidbits now, right? Like, is it possible to have a healthy, strong marriage?
Absolutely.
Tell us how you did it. How are you still doing it?
There's a million things we could say, but just to kind of narrow it down to a few things, I think one of the greatest tools I've learned is to stay amazed.
Okay. Tell us, what does that mean?
When you first meet somebody and you're attracted to that person, you go on this treasure hunt, really. You try to discover who they are.
Right.
And the more treasure, the more that you find that you love and that's so amazing about this person, opposites attract. What attracts you to the person is they can do things and they have things you don't have.
Right.
And so that's very attractive. And you have to continue on that treasure hunt, and so many people, they miss it because they think they know, they think they've already discovered everything. They've been married for 10, 20 years, and they allow themselves to get bored
or familiar.
And that's a choice. And I think the greatest choice, we always get the question, how do you stay in love for a lifetime? Stay amazed.
And so that's actually become literally a discipline of whenever we get a bit familiar or bored or just irritated, I think we draw back to that discipline of what do I love about this person? What do I see? And I think that that's true in our relationship with God and really with every human being that we're close to. Another thing, a real discipline we have, we know how to connect. And connecting is different than just communicating. It's like a lot of times you're communicating, you're eating meals together, you do life together, but you're not actually connected.
Yeah, what's the difference?
Well, to me, I use this is such a simple analogy, but I have this revelation of I'm in this room, I'm not on the Wi-Fi. I can't get a download. I can't download unless I get the code to be able to get a download. And I think in relationships, you have a code in every relationship. And you discover that code to really have that level of intimacy and connection. So I have access to John in a way that nobody else has. So we have that ability to connect. And that it's not easy to get to disconnect, but we intentionally stay connected.
Right.
And so that means that I'm thinking of how to open up his heart, because I pretty readily share. I'm pretty readily open. That's just more my personality. Where John is this deep well that I'm like, I know you're down there somewhere. You have to pull it out
of there.
Yeah, he's a bit of a
I don't know how many times over the years I've heard, where are you? I'm right here.
Yeah. But she's willing, you're saying you're willing to go into that deep well and say.
And he trusts me to let me in, because I think he had to develop that.
So really it's like, let me in.
Yeah.
And, to me, the whole thing of being in someone's life is seeing through their eyes, hearing through their ears. And I learned the greatest lesson in relationships when my oldest daughter, who's now our lead pastor, when she was 8 years old, I just stumbled across this thing and took her on a date. Never heard of it before. Right. But I got in this date and it was amazing. And then I thought, hold it. How do you talk to an 8-year-old?
Right.
I had no idea. But I began to ask a few questions and I made this discovery. Everyone's got their own world, even an 8-year-old. And they want you in, but you have to want to see through their eyes.
Yes.
And that's, to me, that's what connected is.
That's
Stop
really good.
looking at things through your perspective and take a moment to get into your spouse's perspective.
I so appreciate that. My husband and I are quite different. Isn't that opposite attract?
Yeah.
So common.
And then you can find after marriage, you're like, why are you so opposite than me, right? And we hold our own view on the world rather than going, oh, I actually appreciate and understand that you're different. I need some of that, right? So I'm going to enter into that rather than resist it.
Right.
And that's helped us too.
Oh,
that's really
It
good.
literally would help every relationship. I think we live in such a loud and fragmented world, so much opinion, and yet we're not having conversations.
Yeah.
And until we really want to know somebody else, they're not going to open up to us.
True.
I often get the question, so what's one thing that you would suggest we do for our family, not just our marriage, but for our family? My answer is get a calendar. And they all laughed at you, I've got an iPhone. No, get a big calendar. And on that calendar, write the most important things in your world, and they have names. Write those names and put it where everyone can see
Wow,
it.
that's
And
good.
what it is when that name comes up or when that date comes up.
Which he did once a month with our girls.
I would take our girls on a date once a month, and that date was this time that we had to just get into each other's life. And it's not about me instructing, trying to get, teach them something.
Just hanging
It's
out.
about connecting.
Yeah. And do you have dates, weekly dates, or how do you put that
We
habit
did.
on your calendar?
We
for you
had
guys?
weekly dates on the
Yeah.
calendar. It would take
Good.
life and death to break them. And I think because we honored the date night,
Yeah.
it really has served us well.
Yeah.
And then he did. He
That's
took
great.
each of our girls out. Really
love
now
that.
life is a bit different, but he still continues to date.
It's so
It-
good.
Date my grandkids now.
Well, they say it's an old saying, but check what your priorities really are by looking at your calendar
It's the
or
truth.
your checkbook,
Checkbook.
which I know we don't really have checkbooks now, but the
Right,
idea is how do you
right.
spend your money? How do you spend your time?
Absolutely.
Right? And
Right.
that's going to be the measurement. So if you
Amen.
really care about your marriage and your family or any friendships, even relationships, got to prioritize it. What
Right.
else? So other habits.
Another habit is just praise. Praise is so valuable and so important. We were created in the image of God. You want to get into His presence. You know how the Bible says you enter with praise.
Right.
It's not
Wow,
it's not a
that's
surprise. You want to enter into that heart. You
Yeah.
enter with praise, and I think you've probably heard people say you should say 9 things for every negative, 9 positive. And I don't want to put a number on it, but
Yeah.
it's so important that we continually speak into that life.
Well,
Absolutely.
the truth is, you don't have to quantify it. People go where they're celebrated,
Yes.
Oh,
not
yeah. Isn't
tolerated.
that so
Absolutely.
true?
And so-
Shame never won anyone over.
No.
Yeah.
And so if you want a great marriage, you need to celebrate. And I
Yeah.
think when there is enough celebration, and I would say, we have built friendship as the heart of our marriage.
Yeah.
And I think
Us
if we-
too.
Yeah.
I'd say that's been our primary strength.
And life changes,
Yeah.
but friendship just
Yes.
deepens. And I would say that we've done everything that we can to facilitate that friendship and to create an atmosphere of praise where you feel loved and cherished. That if the whole world's against you,
Yeah.
you want that person to come home
Yeah.
and think, "But I'm for you."
And home needs to be a soft place to fall.
Yes.
Because there's not enough
Yeah,
soft
just
places
be
to fall in
yourself.
this world.
It's
right?
okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Often we treat all of our strangers so nice.
Right.
Why don't we treat each other
Yeah.
so nice?
Yeah.
And I remember years ago coming home from work and the candles were lit and the best china's out and everything else. Who's coming for dinner? Just you and the girls.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like we need to actually take that
Yeah.
into our homes and our marriages.
I just love it. I love your practicality. So I've heard, stay amazed, keep invested, right? You guys are
Always.
committed to doing the work. Get it on your calendar,
Yeah.
right? And just what I hear in you is just be kind.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Kindness opens every heart.
It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
It does.
It's
And that's
hard
how
to
we
be mean to
celebrate
someone
each
that's
other.
kind to
And
you.
have fun.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're saying that because
That's
life
our-
is so
that's our
serious, right?
exclamation mark.
Yeah.
We're going to have a family night tonight and you'll hear it a block away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Easy.
great. That's
It's
great.
just-
That's because John plays the accordion, but
Oh, well,
besides that.
I don't know if I want to hear that. No, that'd be great. Whatever fun is for you,
But
right?
she never stops laughing. One
That's
of her
great.
goals in life is to laugh every day to the point of tears
Mhm.
at me.
You know what? I laugh at my husband too, and that's one of the. But
It's endearing.
it's endearing, and we just need to have these. A little more fun in our relationships. That looks different for different people. Any last word you want to say to couples that are watching to cheer them on in marriage?
You know what? It's going to get better. I think if two people
Don't
are
quit.
willing to work,
Yeah.
don't quit.
Yes.
Go through the hard stuff. We have gone
Yeah.
through a lot of hard places in our journey, not just in marriage, but life has got hard things, but we're doing it together.
Yeah.
I am so glad
Yeah.
that we invited God into our relationship and that we have made a commitment to fight for each other, not against each other, but for each other to go the long haul. So I anticipate we
So
will,
good.
live for a long time
Yeah.
still and love
Yeah.
each other passionately more
Yeah.
and more.
Oh,
So
Life's
that's a
all
good
about
one.
relationships, and the most important one is your marriage. It'll be the greatest and the most valuable work you'll ever do.
I
Oh,
agree.
that's good. That's good. John and Helen, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I love it. I love
you're
it
the
so
best.
much.
Thank you for coming.
Well, you know what? Yeah, I love
To our
BC.
neighborhood.
God's doing good things in Canada.
Yeah.
You're one of us, even though I know you go to those Australian friends. We love them too. But thank you for what you share. How can people find you if they want to learn more about what you have to share or learn?
I think you could just go to johnandhelenburns.com.
All right,
Pretty
that's a good
simple.
place.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
well, go there. But I'm telling you, take to heart what you've heard today because marriage is worth it. Every single step of it, it is so worth it. God made it, so it's always good.